Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to this evening's live feed. Now, this evening's live feed is interesting because we begin to debunk and we begin to go into the power of the social brain. We begin to go into the empowering nature of who we are as people. We begin to go into the importance and the meaning of our relationships, how powerful this is for us. And not only how powerful it is for us, but also how it lends itself to improved health, an improved sense of well-being, and improved understanding and connection to self, and evolved understanding and connection to self. Now, as you're all coming on, people, which is wonderful, thank you, pop a number 1 in the comment box. Let me know that you're here. So I know that you're here and we can communicate, of course, and we can interact. And everybody else that is coming on will also know that you are here. So let me know that is happening. Number 1 in the comment box, and maybe an emoticon to let me know how you're feeling today as well. Because how we feel, of course, is going to determine the way we assimilate information, yeah? Cool. Well, I'm seeing some people come on now. Wonderful. Excellent. Very good. So, as I mentioned earlier, hi Carol, how are you? Welcome, welcome. As I mentioned earlier, there was a study conducted, there's a number of studies that have been conducted over the last 20, 30 years that have demonstrated the immense value of social cohesion, the immense value of legitimate social interaction, the immense value of actually having meaningful relationships in our lives. And when we are able to have these meaningful relationships in our lives, and when we're able to engage in relationships that are of value to us, that we can be of service to in the relationship, but also that the relationship can give us value as well, what we are finding is that the way our brain is enhanced is just as much as if we were to undergo extensive cognitive problem-solving exercises. And this begins to say a lot for our social brain, our limbic system. It begins to say a lot for our emotions and the way we interact and the way we move through the world. Importantly, what it tells us is how important it is to have a very strong, secure, safe, bonded social network. And how having this network stimulates us, stimulates our brains, brain health. But I want to go deeper than that, because that's almost, that physical, tangible understanding of self is almost easy. It's not easy, but it's and it's not simple, but it's there, it's present. I want to go deeper into the power of social networks. I want to go deeper into the empowering nature and the meaning and the value that relationships add in our lives. I know in my own personal experiences, some of the most difficult times in my life have come from relationships, and some of the most blessed times in my life have come from relationships as well, from experiencing meaning and love and presence in relationships. And if you can resonate with that, give me a number 2 in the comment box to let me know that you can resonate deeply with that and what that has meant to you in your life. Odie says, networking is very important based on my own personal experiences. Absolutely. So networking, whether it be business or networking in any other arena of life, networking is essentially giving ourselves, making ourselves present, making ourselves known, and then of course wanting to meet other people, wanting to learn and grow from other people as well. So relationships become this tremendous power point in our lives where we're able to fully immerse in our own growth, and we learn so much about who we are in relationship. We grow profoundly through relationship. We begin to connect to and understand our own capacity and potential in relationships as well. So as we move through life, we change who we are as people. We change based on the experiences that we have. We begin to transmute ourselves, and we begin to have varying likes and dislikes and preferences in life. And of course, this impacts the nature of our relationships, but also the people that are coming into our lives, and the people and whose life we choose to remain in as well. So knowing ourselves is deeply critical at this point in time. The more we know ourselves, the more we allow ourselves to bring in well-aligned people into our sphere of influence. Because we don't want to be bringing in people in our lives that do not align with our highest values, that cannot be of service to our purpose, and that also do not wish to receive service from us as well. We're missing something deeply important when we are unable to do that. So if we go back a moment and we spoke to some of the most profound and amazing experiences in our lives have come from being in relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm just speaking to our social network, I'm speaking to intimate relationships, familial relationships, friendships, colleagues, strangers, people that you meet on the street, whoever it may be, but relationships, being in relation to another human being in this context. And how deeply empowering that can be. But in the same token, some of our greatest despairs, our pain points, our suffering, the fears that we experience that really come to the surface of our consciousness are also experienced through relationship. So how do we reach a point where we begin to experience relationship at greater depth, and we're able to extract the value of relationship in our lives? Well, firstly, we need to Not sure why that is. Okay, we're back. Sorry if you lost me there. There was just something wrong with the. There's a technological glitch. So I was saying that knowing self is deeply, deeply important, and the more we know ourselves, the more we can extract meaning and value from relationships. Now, if we go back a little bit from that, and this is what's really important here, is we begin to transmute our belief system around relationships. Bear with me. So I mentioned earlier about the despair and the challenge and the difficulty and the fears that we often face being in a relationship, and how that affects our well-being, but also how that affects others. Yeah. So just guys, if you're guys and girls, if you're coming on, put a number 1 in the comment box if you're just joining in. If you're new to my live feeds, put new in the comment box so that we all know that you're new, your tribe can welcome you, the community can welcome you, and of course we can interact with greater efficacy. Yeah. So it's changing our fundamental beliefs and our models of reality around relationships, and knowing that even if we're experiencing fear, even if we're experiencing pain, even if we're experiencing discomfort, we know that it is all of value to us. We've got a few new people coming on. Gail, welcome. Thank you for being here. Crystal, welcome, welcome, welcome. Wonderful tribe. If we can welcome Gail and Crystal, that would be sensational. Thank you so much. So understanding that everything we experience in relationship at some point in time will provide us with value. It will provide us with meaning. It will provide us with deep, deep guidance. But first, we must be open to experiencing the fullness of relationship. And this means that we are open to anything that relationship has to offer to us. And that includes some of those difficult times, some of those challenge points that we may experience. And if you can resonate with that, people, pop a number 3 in the comment box. Let me know that you're feeling me on this path and you're with me on this journey. Relationships can be our greatest teachers, and as proven across many different studies, they are also very healthy for brain health. Being completely introverted is not super healthy for our growth and development. It is also not super healthy for the stability of our mental state. Now, there's nothing wrong. I personally am an introvert. I love my silence, I love my stillness, and I could sit and stare at a wall all day. I could be at the ocean all day on my own. I could be in silence and stillness all day. It may not come across that way, but it is deeply important to me to be immersed in silence and stillness. But I know I get also tremendous value from being with people, being around people, learning and growing from people. And it becomes a deeply enriching, emotionally enriching and spiritually enriching activity, exercise, that we are able to then engage with people meaningfully. Now, now Gail says vulnerability is a huge key in finding the truth of ourselves. Absolutely. So being open and vulnerable with who we are, being very honest with what we want from life and who we want in our lives is so important. And that vulnerability is effectively a point of openness and honesty with self. And it begins with self. It begins with being very truthful with self. It's having an open conversation with self, and how that actually then transcends and feeds into the social circles or the people that we surround ourselves with. Now, the trick here is, so Sky says, also being mindful that what you run from is not what you run to. Absolutely. What you run from is exactly what you run into. That's really, really important as well to understand. In terms of, if we are hiding from ourselves, we're losing an aspect of self. In other words, we're fragmenting ourselves, and we're not coming from a place of wholeness or connectedness. Now, with respect to this is deeply, deeply important, yeah? With respect to who we bring into our lives, with respect to the types of people that we allow to enter our sphere of influence, yeah? This is really important. Obviously, being connected to our values, understanding our purpose or purposes in life, and having emotional contact and connection with our purposes is deeply important in terms of two essential components of knowing self. But beyond that, when we want to bring people into our lives that are of value and of meaning and of depth, and that we can then resonate and relate to completely, it's important that these people have certain attributes. And three of these attributes that are deeply important, if you have a pen and a paper, you might want to type these down. They're pretty easy to remember, but they're super important with respect to opening our own mind up and opening our hearts up as well. So that vulnerability piece that we were speaking to earlier, if these people have these three characteristics within them, and we perceive them to have that, it really opens us up tremendously. And it's trust, reverence, and respect. Trust, reverence, and respect. When we trust, revere, and respect deeply those that we bring into our lives, we are very open to allowing them to be of service to us. We are open to hearing what they have to say. We are open to the imparted wisdom and knowledge that they want to give us. And we sit in presence with that. So you give me a number 4 in the comment box if you can resonate with that, people. A number 4 in the comment box if you can resonate with what I just said about having people in our lives that we trust, that we revere and we respect. And it takes our level of self to another level. It takes our expression to another level. So while you're getting those comments in, I'm just going to read some comments here. So Tara says, I feel like we all are islands, and the people that are in our lives come and visit us on a boat. Some people stay for a lifetime, others stay for a short while. That's beautifully said, Tara, and very true as well. We cannot have an expectation, because expectations are deeply rigid. They lock us in and they restrict our movement through life. Expectations, if we place expectations on people to be a certain way, we lock them down to not fully express themselves vulnerably, to not be themselves, and we miss potentially beautiful lessons along the way, beautiful teachings and growth along the way. So what I'd love to ask you now is list 1 or 2 or 3 characteristics or expressive states or posturings that people in your life, it's almost a must-have. It's a deep preference for people in your life to have. For example, could be loving, kind, and authentic. And just 1 or 2 or 3 descriptive words, adjectives that really outline the people you need in your life. I'd love to hear some of that. So Gail says, I love reverence. To me, that talks about more than respect, a word that sees the life and the spirit in another. And absolutely, Gail, and that's why I mentioned reverence, because it really is an honouring, it's a deep honouring of that individual, of that person in your life and what they have to offer. And when we really revere someone, the way that when they speak, when they communicate, when they hold themselves, when they are present for us, it is absorbed in multiples as opposed to someone that we don't really know or that we don't respect. So it is so important we spend time cultivating meaningful relationships. We spend time paying attention to meaningful relationships. And let's see some of these answers are. Substance, humour, compassion, beautiful. Empathy, kindness, depth, fantastic. Fantastic. Keep these words coming, people, because as you mention something that you value in your relationship or your relationships in life, others will learn and grow from that also. Positive and present. Yes. Beautiful. So these and Kira's expectations of the downfall of all, it stops the present. Loyalty, honesty, and compassion. Beautiful. And Carol says, connecting with people on a soul level, it's so rare to find authentic soul connection. Yeah. Angie says, open, communicative, and well-intended. Beautiful. So we're really getting some substance to what we need in our lives. Now, everything, and here's the crux of it, okay? Everything that we are all mentioning here in this live feed with respect to some of these power words, and Daniela says, openness, truth and honesty, empathy, respect and presence, human authenticity. Beautiful. Tara says, innocence of the heart, joy, kindness, truth and honesty. I think there's a lag in my internet this evening. It seems a little bit slow, but anyway, because it seems like it's jolting. So here's the beauty of all this. Everything that we are mentioning here resides within ourselves. And we have a tremendous capacity to express ourselves. In fact, we want to express that ourselves. And what we want from others, we essentially want to be for others as well. And give me number 5 in the comment box if you can resonate with that. What we want from others, we essentially want to be from others. Give me number 5 in the comment box. And that's a very powerful statement. It's a powerful statement because it's reciprocal. And when we reciprocate, posturing, when we reciprocate the way we behave with others, the way we show up for others. In other words, we're showing up with the fullness of who we are, with our baggage, our good stuff, our bad stuff, everything, our history, the stuff that we don't like about ourselves, the experiences that we've had that maybe we're not completely content with, that we are embarrassed of, that we hide, that we shy away from. When we present ourselves, we show up fully to people. We're being vulnerable and open, and we allow people an opportunity to do the same. We get the most from people because we are giving them the most. There's a reciprocity that occurs here, yeah? Awesome. There's a lot of number 5s. Excellent. We need to show up with willingness. Yeah, absolutely, Gail. We do need to be willing to be open, to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to be truthful, to be clear in our communication, to be very present, and to be congruent in the way we move in relationship as well, because we are going to want to have that preference from others. And when we do, when they're able to be what we want them to be because we are being that person, the dynamic is enhanced tremendously, and it evolves our growth, and we expand, our mindsets expand. We are able to look at our belief systems, we're able to look at our models of reality, our thought paradigms, and the way we move through life, and actually question and query, does this serve us? Does this behavior serve us? Who I am being right now, is it of complete service to others, and is it of complete service to me? That becomes tremendously powerful. So if you're new to this live feed, please pop new in the comment box, maybe with an emoticon. Let me know how you're feeling. And if you're just coming on, pop number 1 in the comment box. Let the tribe and the community know that you're here. We're speaking to relationships today. We're speaking to the importance of socialization for cognitive health, for emotional health, for spiritual health, and for the evolution of ourselves, the evolution of our path, and of course then the evolution of others, so we can be of service to others as well, which is beautiful. So Gail says conscious connections lead to conscious conversations, and conscious conversations lead to conscious connections as well. We are connecting here, and we are having a conversation, and they work in harmony and symbiosis, in a simultaneous symbiosis, and that's beautiful. So Hi, Wendy. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Excellent. Carla, great. Thank you for joining. Wonderful. So how do healthy relationships, and we'll define healthy in a moment, but how do healthy relationships serve our growth? How do healthy relationships increase our brain capacity? And how do healthy relationships make us connect or assist us to connect to self with far greater presence, prowess, and depth? And let's define healthy relationships. In fact, we're going to do this. This is going to be cool. So, and this is going to get us thinking a little bit, okay? One or two words in your own words, just one or two words. Let's keep this really simple, that define healthy relationships. One or two words. And if you really want to, you can pop one or two sentences in there. If you can type really fast, that's cool. I have no problem with that happening. Sarita, welcome. Ruth, welcome. One or two words that define healthy relationships. In your opinion, your definition of what healthy relationships is. So one or two words, but you can put a sentence or two there if you need to. So Chrissy says respect. Beautiful. So whilst there's openness, wonderful, wonderful. Truth and honesty, excellent, excellent. Supportiveness, encouragement, wonderful, wonderful. So healthy relationships primarily are defined by our ability to be completely open and honest and authentic and be ourselves and communicate from a heart space, but with a deep integration of mind as well. So consciousness through cognitive consciousness and heart consciousness, and be able to express our truth at any given moment in courage. And of course, that is one of many definitions of communication: honesty, non-judgment, understanding, connection, interpersonal, mutually supportive, two individuals, energetic exchange, supporting and inspiring each other. And inspiration is a big part of healthy relationships, yeah? Another big part of healthy relationships, as mentioned earlier, is non-judgment. There's no critique or judgment in the dynamic of the relationship, and there does not need to be. There's a deep compassion and empathy and understanding that comes from being in a mutually reciprocal, beneficial relationship with each other. Carla says, when you first have a healthy relationship with yourself and can hold that space for others too. Completely agree. Commitment to heart-led language and the empowerment of each other. Beautiful. So there's some really beautiful, deep definitions of healthy relationships here. So how do healthy relationships serve our emotional intelligence and our emotional health and even our spiritual growth? Well, we are relational beings. By nature, we are relational beings. We live in a dualistic reality where we relate to anything and everything in our environment in order to understand ourselves and understand the world by which we live in. So by this understanding, relating is so important. Relating to ideals or relating to values or relating to, again, ideas, belief systems, people, things that align with our truth is so important. So bringing in healthy relationships into our existence, into our sphere of reality, empowers us tremendously. And what it does is it allows us a reflection point. Again, the caveat here is that there's trust, there's reverence, and there's respect in those relationships. There's deep trust, deep reverence, deep respect in those relationships. And when we have that trust, that reverence and respect, we are able to grow. We are able to become emotionally intelligent. We are able to perhaps see a perspective of our own lives that we are really struggling with, that another in our life, in that healthy relationship says, hey, have you thought about observing life in this way? Have you thought or felt into this particular direction? Because right now it doesn't look like you're receiving what you need to from where you are. And having that voice of reason, that voice of compassion in our lives is so tremendously useful. And it allows us, if we are open enough to it, it allows us to look at ourselves and our behavior and the way we are moving through life and ask ourselves, from a place of compassion and love and empathy, of course, self-compassion, self-love, are the choices that I'm making right now of maximum benefit to me and maximum benefit to others? And by asking these questions, we begin to cultivate deeper emotional literacy in our own selves, the way we communicate to ourselves, and that comes across and it comes around because We have beautiful people in our lives to guide us, because we don't know everything. And when we are in emotional despair, we are disconnected from reason, very much disconnected from reason. In the social brain, in the limbic system, our emotions are formed here primarily, and then they move into the prefrontal cortex. They don't have an opportunity to even go there when we are in emotional despair. If you resonate with everything I've just said then, give me a number 6 in the comment box. Let me know your thoughts on that. Ruth says, a healthy mind, a healthy relationship. Absolutely. So when we cultivate deep components, aspects, and layers of self, like healthy layers of self, we grow as well, and we attract that health in others, in our relationships too, which becomes beautifully empowering, yeah? And also it's growth for them. See, when we are teaching, we are learning. When we are learning, we are teaching. If we allow and bestow the gift of teaching, we learn. And by us learning, we are also teaching them. And it's reciprocated. It's likewise for the other party as well. Awesome. Whole heap of 6s there. That's fantastic. So you're feeling what I'm saying around that. Now, in terms of our spiritual evolution, in terms of our spiritual growth, we become open to new ideas, new ways of being, new ways of immersing into life. We are provided with maybe wisdom and experience that we haven't felt before, because we haven't had those specific experiences that our peers or that our loved ones or that our respected, trusted, revered friends or lovers have had. So we're able to learn and expand ourselves so deeply in that space. That becomes beautiful as well, yeah? So Gail says, when we start to question our beliefs and thoughts and connect to our heart's wisdom, then we can open to conscious relationships. And I completely agree with that, Gail. Our ability to connect to ourselves compassionately, empathetically, deeply, profoundly, as deep as possible, in fact, really sets the tone for the consciousness that we then bring into our relationships as well. And the way we move through those relationships and what we actually get from that becomes beautifully empowering for us. And I'm referring to this state of empowerment, and I'm doing so very specifically and for purposefully, because when we are empowered, we are in an open state of being. When we are in an open state of being, we are more open to receiving abundance, information, wisdom, knowledge, etc. We come from a place of courage. We come from a place of connection to self. We're not coming from a fragmented place. We're not coming from fear or multiple fears. We're not experiencing immense pain points in that time and space, but rather we are able to fully immerse into the beauty, the wonder, and the fullness of life. So that empowerment allows us to think with greater clarity as well. It allows our emotions to be expressed with clarity. It allows our emotions to be expressed intelligently and in a connected manner, and truthfully, more in alignment with our authentic being. That's what empowerment allows us to do. I'm just checking the comment here, people. Beautiful. So if you can resonate with the sense of empowerment in our lives and how empowerment leads to greater growth and greater articulation of the attention that we place to life and the way we move through life, give me number 7 in the comment box, please. Number 7 in the comment box if you resonate with empowerment being a deep motivator for growth and a deep inspiration for growth as well. Because empowerment has the capacity to do that. Empowerment has the capacity to give us immense strength to continue to move with great prowess. Now, when we are moving in an empowered state of being, we inspire others as well. I mentioned that earlier, the connection between empowerment and inspiration. And when we are inspiring others, people are then attracted to our being. People become attracted to who we are and how we choose to move through life as well. And they become curious, infinitely curious about what we are doing and who we are being. Importantly, who we are being. What ideals, ideas, posturings are we embodying? What practices are we embodying? That's so important. When we have that integrity, that authentic integrity from our inner world to our outer world, well, that becomes a tremendously beautiful place to be immersed in life. Tara says, when our present self is present to others, present self Clarity of connection reigns, and it reigns supreme, absolutely. And Gail says the Western world has mistaken power in the world for empowerment of the self. And we can speak to power for a moment because that's really interesting. When we come from a place of autocratic power, when we come from a place of power that is restricted or restrictive rather, when we come from a place of power that is controlling, and we're not coming from a place of authentic empowerment to simply simultaneously benefit our own being and benefit the path of others, that becomes a very dangerous combination from being disconnected or moving into disconnection instead of connection. So a distinction, when we're talking about empowerment, we're talking about authentic expression. We're talking about bringing into our lives authenticity, congruency, and real love into our lives. And that love that we feel from others, that empowers us as well. But it can only do so when we have a deep love for self. Otherwise, we will not accept that love. We will not allow that love to come in. We will sabotage that love deeply. And give me number 8 in the comment box if you understand what I'm saying there, if you can resonate with that. That if we don't love ourselves deeply, if we don't have compassion for ourselves, kindness for ourselves, respect and reverence and trust for ourselves, the love that does attempt to enter our lives, we will sabotage. Unconsciously, the ego will sabotage. The ego does not like what is unfamiliar in life. The ego loves familiarity. Comfort stems from familiarity, and of course, comfort equates to safety. Authentic connection, awesome. Yeah. So really, people understanding the importance of love, understanding the importance of social connection and relating to each other consciously. When we relate to each other consciously, we grow consciously. We evolve old aspects of self that no longer serve us. And in that space, in that shedding of the old and coming into the new, it can be quite challenging and quite painful. It can be quite disconnecting, in fact. But when we have beautiful people in our lives that we trust, revere, and respect, that we can relate to, that we can lean on, that can be of service to us in that transition, we are held and we feel safe. And it is in that safety that we are able to expand ourselves and break the molds of past to deeply immerse in what is most important to us. And that is our transformation, our transformations. And if you can resonate with that, people, give me number 9 in the comment box. Yeah, when you really do love yourself, you are able to experience the love of the entire universe. And everything is experienced through that lens. Everything that we have in life, that we experience in life, is understood and connected to through a place of deep self-worth and deep self-love. And the conscious relationships we bring into our lives will enhance that viewpoint for us, will enhance that perspective and vantage point for us. And it will do so tremendously. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lots of number 9s there. Awesome. So people, social relating, our ability to connect consciously, it's a beautiful place to be. I'm going to say thank you so much for being here. If you believe in this video and if you understand its value, share it. Please share this video. Share it far, share it wide, share it to your friends, your family, whoever you feel may benefit from understanding that trust, reverence, and respect is so important for self and for others in our lives. And of course, that when we socialize with intention, we are actually improving our physiological health, our brain health, our emotional literacy, and we are expanding spiritually. Thank you so much for your comments, for your presence. And share this video if you believe in it, please. And I, once again, will see you on the next live feed. Oh, and if you'd like to be included in a private message anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes before I come on live, just private message me and let me know. And I'll list. And we're just building that tribe and we're building that community, yeah? And I'm very honoured, I'm deeply honoured and grateful and humbled that all of you course, and we're sharing this wisdom, this exchange of wisdom and knowledge, and we're sharing, we are benefiting ourselves, we are growing, we are expanding, all of us together. And of course, those that you know as well and that you relate to in the most beautiful manner are going to reap the benefits of these types of conversations, these conscious conversations, this conscious relationship right now via the ether. So thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah, just reading some of the comments. Okay, cool. Beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and enjoy your day. And again, of course, I will see you very soon. Thank you so much.